Okay, let's do this. Today we're going to talk a little bit about textures and sizes of the textures. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a brush here. I've got a fresh scene. I'm going to tap on a cell. I'm going to go into the edit mode. From here I'm in the creator screen. And the first panel that's open up here on the top is the images panel. So I'm going to click on this white texture here. And that's going to take me to the texture library. And inside this library you'll see there's a variety of textures that we can pick that'll give us a lot of different possibilities when we're creating a Splode. So I'm just going to pick this very first one here. So now you can see we've got a nice texture on here. And I want you to look at how those particles that are coming out are kind of fading nicely into the background and see how they kind of overlap with each other. And if we change blend modes, which is this default brighten blast we've got, so I'm going to change that to blast. You can see how you get a very different effect when you change that blend mode. For you geeks out there, that's an additive blend mode. And I've got another mode here for blast, which gives it kind of a harsher effect, so the more they overlap, the brighter they get, and they kind of blast the colors out. Let's go back to the default for right now, and let's look at some of the size options that you have with textures. So if we open up the size panel, you can open up the panels just by tapping on the header, and they'll open and close for you. So you've got a texture scale here. So if you make it really small, you're going to get a small texture. And obviously if you make it large, it's going to draw larger. I recommend that you always use the smallest size you can to get the effect that you want. The bigger the textures are, the more overlap you've got, the more powerful device you're going to need to have to draw that. So just kind of like use the smallest ones that you can get away with. So let's look a little bit at these starting and ending values here. And they'll do probably what you expect they're going to do. With this, you can control how big this particle is going to draw over its lifespan. So here, when I've got them set about the same, they'll start and end their lives at the same size. If I change the ending to be small, over the life of the particle, they'll go down to that smallest size. And I can do the opposite as well. So sometimes one thing you'll notice here is when you change these blend modes, go back to images, that these bright ones pop out at the end, whereas the default one gets a nice fade out. So one thing I like to do to kind of hide that is either adjust how long the particle lasts so it goes off the screen, or you can change its size so that by the end of its life it's faded out, which gives a nice look. Okay, I'm going to change back to the default blend so we can get a good view on these. And let's look at this last option here, which is noise. So you'll see here that they're starting and ending their lives the full size and using that 2.5 size we've got. So this value here, the higher I make it, you're going to see now there's some variety in the size. So they're starting to get a bit smaller. If I turn this noise all the way up, you'll see that I've got a chance to have some very, very tiny particles. So this gives you the ability to kind of create some variety in your scene. And I'm going to go ahead and change these so they end a little smaller. I'm going to go back up here and change the brightness to get a nice look. And just with some simple options there, just playing with some textures and some blend modes and some sizes, you can create a pretty cool visual effect that you can draw on the screen. Okay, that's it.